Golly, golly, guys, welcome back to part two of the 2023 rundown. At least from my perspective of of how 2023 went. So in short, this is part two. Part one. Let me just briefly run through, give a 30-second rendition of kind of what happened. Basically, worked my entire tail off all 2022 to get good at really talented at software. Work some freelance jobs, work some smaller contracts, and then ultimately landing a full blown enterprise position at a capillary collection startup. 6 months after SVB banking crisis, some FDA regulations kind of parked those dreams pretty quick. So it was huge high to a huge low. So January was when I started, and it was early January, and then 6 months later, just kind of taking things as it was, with all the layoffs, the tech layoffs and stuff. It was just brutal, like really shocking moment. So that's where the year kind of started to just get dirty on me, just get real mentally challenging because I've had so many waves like this in life where it goes up like crazy highs, crazy lows. Whether it was like back when I used to be a professional musician, I would sell out shows, but then boom, COVID happened. So it's like I come from this really big high of like sold out shows, people waiting in line to show up, and it's like great friends selling out shows, and friends of friends helping sell out the shows, and random people helping sell out shows. And I'm signing stuff, taking photographs with people. It's being so epic and so fun. And then boom, COVID happens, and it's like shows all across the globe are done. Like no more shows for the tentative future. Get a new job. So I've had experiences like this, and this was another one of those where it was like, here's this just amazing capillary collection. You figured it out, and you're the highest high of the world. Making progress at this capillary collection startup, being an enterprise software engineer, and then boom, parked, and it was just a low. To be honest with you guys, like just tore me up, just internally shook me. It really did. And it's not the company. They're amazing people. As mentioned, I've got still amazing relationships with that company. They're fantastic people, really brilliant and all above the board type people. So high integrity, high IQ type people, just amazing people across that entire company. But unfortunately, when business crisis happens, you have to make business survival decisions at the time. Now they're back to thrive and doing amazing stuff. But the point is it was just one of those things where it's like, dang. So now I'm back at square one. It felt back at the drawing board, and I remember the very first 2 days. I had one day of just like complete shock. I was like, okay, I'll give myself one day to kind of just do nothing. I think I actually recorded a video. Oh my gosh. I remember now. I remember what happened when I came home. So 9 a.m. I get let go at like 9:30 in the morning. I come back to this apartment. Maybe I still have the footage or not. I'll either put it in a vlog or put it right now. But I come back to this apartment, and the apartment starts leaking. Like the neighbor's water is like water falling out. Like I leave the apartment, I go outside, and there's just water pouring out of the door, like out of the door. And I was on the way to do something. I forget, go to the grocery store, go do something, and then I like run to the front desk to let them know, like, hey, just by the way, like someone's water's like leaking crazy, but like it's like a mini Niagara Falls out here, just blasting off the second story down. And then after I come back from the front desk, I was thinking while I was there, I was like, wait a sec, my apartment's below that. Like, that's not good. And by the time I come back here, there's water everywhere. It's pouring through. I have you guys set up under the lights. If you watch my coding tutorials, there's like two lights behind me. Water was coming down off the strands of these lights and just pouring through the backlights as well. So it was just a miserable day. It's like I just got let go. I come home, and there's water all over the floor, all over the counter. It's like going everywhere in the bedroom. I'm hustling to get everything off the ground, and it's just literally one of those days where I'm like, golly, this could not get. And then the next day, me and my girl, we go to a place, and this was also part of 2023. Is I got a girlfriend, fantastic girl, right around this time, and and we go to this place after the layoff happens, and after the water incident, and my truck gets towed while we're like ordering drinks, ordering chicken wings, and my truck gets towed, and I'm like, golly, this just keeps getting crazier. This just keeps getting crazier. So so it was just a weird thing in the air at that time where this was, I would undeniably say, was the lowest moment for me in 2023. Lowest moment. Let go of the job. The apartment's leaking with water, and the truck gets towed. And it's like, golly, I knew that it was a test from God, or an attack from the other side, right? Where it's like you can't control those things. Those are kind of like the water deal. I can't control that. Even the job deal. It's like I worked as hard as I possibly could. All the controllables I controlled as best as I could, you know. And the truck situation, maybe I shouldn't have parked there or something, but it was just like felt like one thing after the next of just like, okay, well, here's another challenge. But the best part is I try to keep a smile through it all. Like even when I was like, oh, it was shaking their hands, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I got to work on some really cool technology. This has been an awesome thing, and I made it really easy for them as well. Where, I didn't argue about it. I didn't make it all sticky. I didn't have any I still don't have any bad things to say, because I really do believe it's a fantastic company, fantastic people. So I shook hands and made jokes and was on my way out. And then likewise with the apartment water situation, I was making jokes. I was like, I needed to clean the floors. This is a perfect time to squeegee the floors. What a great opportunity for this. And the truck situation, it was funny too. There's a story around that maybe could have its own podcast. But there's a funny story that kind of came out of that as well, where I like hop in the tow truck with it because I saw the tow truck with my truck, and he stopped at the light, and I hop in the tow truck, start kind of talking to the tow truck driver, and kind of finesse the deal out of it as well. So there's some interesting stories that came with that, but it was just such a ridiculous like roller coaster of events, and yeah, it was just crazy. So that was about 6 months into 2023, 6 to 7 months in, and I was like, golly, what a heck of a year. I hit the ground running, and this is the silver lining of all this stuff is I hit the ground running. My girl stays by my side. She actually takes me to dinner that night, totally steps up, like completely being the person in my corner during this time. And not only that, I built a software engineering course. Two of my buddies signed up for it like day one. They're like, oh, we need to buy that right away, however we can help. And then that's ultimately what led to this YouTube channel. Was actually all these events and all this getting let go. And I was like, wait a sec, I do have enterprise software engineering knowledge. Why don't I build a channel where I can kind of uncover some of these things that aren't available on. I mean, they are available on YouTube. I saw there was a gap of like, here's how contract generations work. Here's how companies could build pipelines. Here's how companies could do serverless things. And mind you, I'm still not the most competent engineer when it comes to back end engineering. I'm maybe a 6 out of 10 on that stuff, 7 out of 10 growing. But front end engineering from an enterprise standpoint, I'm very, very, very talented in. Probably a 9 out of 10 on the talent thing. So I saw this gap of like, wait, hold on. I could teach these concepts that I know work at the highest of levels of technology. Why don't I do that? And that's where a bit of a silver lining came out of was, well, okay, now I built this software engineering course, and then I also built this YouTube channel based on software engineering. And then I went into immediately I get picked up for a dermatology contract to build a front end system, reconstruct the front end system, and the back end system with another engineer for $42,000. So I'm like, wow, okay, like not a crazy bump in the road, like it could be worse. I just landed another opportunity. I got kind of a YouTube channel. I'm smiling about the water situation. And I'm like, okay, like I kind of circled the wagons a bit and kind of made do with these opportunities. It wasn't this horrible ending. It felt like it was like, well, hold on, I might have got let go, but I slid right into a dermatology company right away. Not a bad situation at all. Not a bad situation at all. And and then on top of that, I'm learning about data scraping and learning about lead generation tools and learning about kind of other business engineering metrics, I would say, beyond just software engineering, right? So software engineering is obviously very, 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 very valuable. But if you don't have scope of the business, I have an episode on business engineering, and I think that's really important as well, is to understand how the whole pipeline of a business operates and how software fits in as a piece or a few pieces in that system. But so diving into building my own products and building my own scrapers and building my own SaaS products, and that's literally what is documented on this channel. At least some of it. I haven't shown the data scraper on here. It's a world class data scraper using OpenAI and LangChain functions. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. But and I haven't uncovered prospecting tools, so I'll probably build something for you guys on how to build a SaaS, because I built an entire SaaS product, Team Syncer. And then not only the product from a front end to back end system on a smaller scale. Certainly, it's not like 100,000 requests a second system, but I did stress test it for 1,000 requests a second, and I built Team Syncer in this time, and that undeniably made my skill set go even higher, because it's a full blown product. And then I also had to learn the business engineering concept of, like, I need users for that product. So how can I systemically build something that I can consistently rely on that'll get users into my platform? And I did that as well. So there's a silver lining moment of, like, okay, so huge low. Then I kind of shift into these wins of, like, okay, dermatology thing, okay, software engineering course, okay, YouTube channel, okay, building the SaaS product, building these lead generation pipelines, just kind of moving, kind of just like, okay, I'm going forward. I'm doing too much to even worry about what's going on, to even care, to even be upset, to even be like, I just got to keep going forward, keep powering forward. And then this dermatology contract, grinding hours building this system, building it out, and it ultimately, and maybe it's still a little too soon to talk about it, because there's some business relations around this, but it ultimately falls through. Where the other engineer and I decide, you know what, we think we're getting a bit scammed. We think something bad is kind of coming out of this. We see the direction it's almost not going. So let's just kind of park it and walk away. And it was one of those moments of, like, oh man, I needed that money bad. I needed that money so bad. And having to take the high road and say, you know what, something's not adding up here. We're out. And oh man, having to come to that realization, it was just like 2023. Here we are, starting on a high and coming to a low, and then, like, redirecting it with all my might, all my power of, like, okay, let's redirect it. And it's like, dang, even lower it felt, even just worse of, like, oh, having to deal with that, and just having to struggle through that still, just like, wow, and this is going left too. You're kidding. So I'm working my tail off again and doing all these other things, and this is going left too. So it taught me the importance of something like this, of building my own YouTube channel, of building my own income sources, because it's like, I will never give up on me. I will never do that. I will never in a million years ever fire myself. It's impossible. I know how hard I work. I know how smart I work. I know all these micro efficiencies I do. It would be impossible for me to fire me. I would never ever do it. I've maintained 4.0 GPAs in college. I've also done amazing things, sold out shows, been a sales supervisor, worked as a diesel mechanic, and then also engineering stuff. So I would never fire me personally. I know how many days last year I wrote code. It was all 365 of them. So that's the silver lining of kind of 2023. And this is maybe month 9, 10 at this point where it's like, man, what a brutal year. What a challenging, just trying year of like, here's a huge win, here's a huge fail. Here's another win, here's another fail. And it was like, man, I'm gonna fail my way to success. And I'm really pumped on this channel and the SaaS products and things around it because Team Sync and onboarding users to that was actually the biggest win for me. Because it gives me that sense of I just built a product and I built a system to onboard users to that product consistently that I can rely on. And it gives me a sense of like, good. I don't need to rely on these other companies. I don't need to rely on these other people. And likewise with this YouTube channel, it's like here I feel like I'm offloading knowledge and experience and hopefully entertainment and stories with you guys where it's actually valuable for you guys. And the YouTube channel is growing. Like it took me um how 6 months maybe at this point. I'm averaging 10 to 20,000 views a month right now, which is crazy to me. That's so many. Like such a blessing, such a blessing. So, and that's something that I have an influence on. I don't have direct control over, but I have a strong influence on, right? So, so that was the biggest lesson out of 2023 is you know what? Definitely have appreciation for the amazing opportunities that I've had, especially with the first company and the the girlfriend who stood by my side through all this. Um, but certainly some challenges, certainly a few challenges. And that's kind of 2023. Oh, and I mean, there's a few things I missed in there too, where I built a data scraper. I did briefly mention that. Got picked up by my dear friend for a blockchain protocol position and a data collection service, which is just like right on the nose of exactly what I should be doing anyways, and getting a ton of responsibility through that. So building native applications, building multiple web applications, integrating with blockchain stuff, integrating with data collection services, and building my own world class data scraper or embellishing on it at that point. And what else? What else? Ooh, side note too, I did record a country album, this kind of country hip hop album that came out or isn't out yet, but the project itself came out to be really really strong, really powerful, and I've been sitting on that for a bit now. So I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for the things that I've built out of 2023. I'll make a video maybe on the goals I have for 2024. But yes, it was a very 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 challenging year. I think mentally more so than in reality because there's still like like I'm still super super lucky right now to be sitting even in this apartment still. It's a huge blessing. So I'm very very grateful, but a very 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 challenging year. Dare I say of my most challenging years I've ever lived as a human. So um, yeah, but that's my 2023 in a nutshell. The number one thing I learned is I will never work harder for anyone else than I do for myself. That is the biggest lesson, and it's nothing because some of the companies, like as I mentioned, amazing things. I guess the only other person I worked this hard for is my dear buddy Chester. He's fantastic. I would always work hard for him. I will continue working hard for him. But outside of that, yeah. If it ain't working for myself, if it's not for me or Chester, then I really I'm not gonna be. I'll buy into these things first, and then those other things second. Is what I learned in 2023. Buy into other people second after yourself. Not in the sense of respect and confidence and decency, but definitely for like a company sense. I will never work harder for another company than I do for myself ever again in the existence of my life. That will never happen. If I work for a company for 8 hours a day, I will work that same day 8 hours and 1 minute for me. I don't care if it's a 16-hour day. I will stay up to make sure I work for 8 hours and 1 minute for myself than I do for another company. and that's just how I'm gonna roll for the rest of my life. If I work 40 hours a week for another company, I will make sure to work 41 hours a week for Ryan Paglione because yeah, I will never, ever, ever, ever live that year again. That was a very, 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 very trying year. And but the beautiful part of it, and this is kind of my last bit of it, is even the perceived success I may be living, it's all the man upstairs. It's all God. 100%. This year brought me so much closer to God, and it taught me to just let go and truly understand that these things are out of my control. Like I worked as hard as I possibly could have for this company. It's out of my control. Hey, the water situation, it's out of my control. Just laugh about it, have a good time. Um, even the contract that fell through for $42,000. Hey, I did my part. I did what I was supposed to do, and it's out of my control. The man upstairs, he's the one who kind of gets to green light things, and he's also the one who will, if something is not for you, there's no amount of work I can do that he will let that thing happen. So if something is for me, is what I learned as well in 2023, he's going to make sure it happens.